Messed up.
Okay, it is 4:59. Let you guys get logged in online here for the next minute. I love the enthusiasm.
Having an issue.
My fingers are apparently not working.
On the bright side, we can pack 250 people in here now.
If you say so.
Alright, so it's 5. We'll let you guys get settled in here. Get going. Alright, so today we are going to talk about stop work authority. I know that you guys hear about this all the time, but this is something that who knows when you're going to need to use it. So know what to look for when you're out there and know how to properly use it when you're out there. So somebody tell me, what is stop work authority?
The authority to stop work.
In
An unsafe situation.
Okay, right. So yes, the right and obligation to stop work when there's a perceived unsafe situation that's going to cause injury or damage to something. Somebody tell me what an obligation is.
It's a conscience to do your job and keep safety for others.
Yes, a duty. So not only is it your right to do so, it is also your obligation, your duty to do so when you see something unsafe. It's not just an observation, so it's not like, oh, hey, that guy's doing something unsafe. It is also an intervention, so an action. You're actually intervening to stop the work that is going on. This includes changing, slowing down, or stopping the work, the unsafe act, or the condition. These have to be authorized by management and, again, involves personal action in it. Stop work must be supported by our top management here. And you also have to trust top management to maintain an effective safety program that we use. Safety must be the top priority here. Obviously, that's why we're using stop work. If it's unsafe, we're going to stop the work that's being done. Reminder, again, that you must be at work to use stop work authority. You cannot call from, like, your couch at home. That's just an additional note I threw in there. So what you need to know as an employee, you're important to the work team. You must obey regulations, directives, signs, instructions, and policies. They're in place for a purpose. Always look for unsafe acts and conditions. You need to report any time you do use stop work authority and why you're using it. That needs to be called into dispatch. We start that reporting process again. Personal decisions and actions are important to the entire operation. So again, your decisions by you as one person affect entire peoples and companies. Safe work is as important as getting the job done. You guys all just did Devon training, so in their orientations, in all of our contractor orientations we go through, you hear them say, no job is worth doing unsafely. So if it's unsafe, the job being done is not as important as safety. Company profits are directly related to safe work practices. I'm going to say that one more time. Company profits are directly related to safe work practices. So if you think about this, less spills, less property damage, less injuries, all of that is money back into our pockets and back into the company itself instead of liabilities to companies and more work for you guys getting done. So basically, if we're a high liability to a company, we're unsafe, we're not going to be the people they call to do the work, right? All right. Unsafe conditions can cause accidents. So again, if those unsafe conditions are present, that is why we use stop work authority, and unsafe work needs to be stopped using stop work authority. So examples of when you might intervene. So say someone's carrying materials while they're climbing ladders, they're not wearing proper PPE. The supervisors come up on this on locations doing audits all the time. Yes, safety glasses are a function of that. Monitors are a function of that. FRs are a function of that. Not using handrails on stairs. improper fall protection, working without a permit, and improper lifting techniques. So if you see any of these things, these are examples of when you would say, hey, hold up, let's rethink this, let's find a better solution for this, and then do something different. So how to use it? So these are basically the steps in it. So this is what I'm saying, we need to do it properly if you do use stop work authority. So identify the need, you're going to observe surroundings, your actions, and the actions of the other people around you. 2, if you spot something unsafe, the work must be stopped. So anyone involved with work being stopped needs to be notified. That's anyone involved with that work. So that could be anyone on location, anyone in the shop, not a part of Prairie at all, but anyone involved in that work at all that is being stopped needs to be notified. Stop work is not a negative disruption of a job. It's a positive intervention. So again, when used in good faith, there should be no punishment or penalty for using this. So it's a positive effort. Agreement. When stop work is used, all workers need to cooperate, stop, and discuss and determine the correct course of action to take. If there's differing opinions, a supervisor is going to make the final decision. So if you have a group of people and you're kind of discussing what's the best way to go on this, ultimately the supervisor in this situation is going to make the final decision on what to do. If it's deemed the work is safe, so if they say, nah, you're good to go, then work's going to continue on. If it's unsafe, work's not going to continue until corrective action is formed, discussed, and chosen. So that's that resolution. Once the resolution has been chosen, the corrective action can obviously then start. Feedback is given to all workers involved in the stop work to ensure issues are communicated and fully understood. So if we use stop work, we're going to send out in a safety meeting, or we can put it on JSAs for those locations. We're going to say, hey, this was a situation where we used stop work. This is why we used stop work, and this is how we fixed it. All interventions, again, must be reported and documented, so dispatch needs to be notified anytime we use stop work. This is going to provide a reference point for tasks where the same issues can happen again. So if we use stop work, obviously we have that documentation. It also, again, confirms the correct stop work process was used. So again, everyone has the right to use stop work, whether it's with Prairie, whether they're office personnel, shop personnel, drivers, or anyone not involved in Prairie as well. If you observe something unsafe, you should obviously use stop work authority and report it. And then if anyone disregards an intervention, so if you say, hey, you need to stop work, I'm intervening, if anyone disregards that and says, nah, I'm not listening to you, that needs to be immediately reported to a supervisor. Any questions, comments, concerns on stop work authority? Again, we hear it all the time, something that's pretty familiar with everyone, but there's quite a bit, obviously, of a process to it. Anything? Golden. All right. So we have some kudos here. Chris Wilson, you were recognized by Darren Wire. On 5/29/20, Chris was on the Milton location in the Cheyenne area, loading his truck when another company, Volumetrics, had a spill. Chris stayed and helped the Milton employees and other driver with the cleanup and sucked out the Getty box for them. Chris reported the spill to me, took the time to help out, and was still able to get all of his loads completed for the day. Little things like this go a long ways to build good customer relations. Thank you, Chris. All right, where's Sal? All right, we have our shop moment for this week. Gonna throw it over to Sal, and he's gonna talk to you. This one right there.
Supper. Okay. Again, we're basing all these moments on things that we're coming across, and one of the big ones we've seen right now is tires. Again, it doesn't matter how well your vehicle runs if the tires aren't good, it doesn't move. We're starting to initiate a different, just more of a focus on the tires. So what we're trying to do here is work with what's good and what's bad. Great, recap, and discard. As far as great, this is an example of a new tire. The depth on that is 25-30 seconds, which is, again, a brand new tire. Anytime a truck or trailer come into the shop, this is what's going to be done with these tires. It's going to be red like this and be marked on the tire so everyone's aware of it. This way we have more than just one set of eyes on everything. Recap, this is still salvageable and can be trimmed and recapped. as it reads 530 seconds, which is the maximum loss in our shop from this day forth. And I say that because there's been so many tires we saw come through and it was like, well, we'll just let it go one more time. The problem with that is when we do that, the tire comes through and it's no good at all. We've just lost that much. This way we can try and get these recapped and reuse them. And the last one, removed from service, this is below 530 seconds, which means we'll just get back in the tire czar can remove it from our facility. I say that because the tire czar is kind of the guys that provide us with that. Without these trucks don't move. So, again, drivers out there, if they have any questions about these things, please feel free to ask, because when you don't ask and it's not put onto us, we can't read minds yet. So, but we're working on that. So, just let us know and we'll keep an eye on it. So, that's all I got.
Okay, we have our monthly safety topic. Remember, it is managing fatigue and sleep well. So again, we know this is a crazy time, really stressful for you guys. So we want to make sure you guys are still getting the sleep that you need to be fit for duty when you get here. If you're struggling at all, please get with someone you trust, have a conversation with them, make it known, get some of that out. Moving on to operations, don't let yourselves get distracted while you're doing your job and lose focus of the task at hand. So stay focused. We've had plenty of incidents recently due to simply not paying attention and getting complacent with your jobs during the day. Connections, please double, triple check all of your connections before opening any valves. Make sure everything's good to go before you even get any fluids moving. Obviously, that's going to make less of a mess if everything is good to go before you find out that you're not connected. Your controls. Do not walk away from your controls. Again, this is a federal law for you to be at your controls. If you're not there when something goes wrong, we're going to end up again with a larger incident than if you were there ready to stop the product flow when it happens. I forgot the safety focus word. I apologize. Good thing you guys are all still listening. It was stop work authority is an obligation for you, those of you online. That is all I have. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns for today? Or anything to add? Anyone online? Okay, good deal. All right, have a safe week. We will see you next week, everybody.